pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And first thing I want to do is run down the list, number 18, and Brad, y'all want to take over?
I was going to do all the work, so.
Rural and secondary road programs.
All right, Judge Henderson, my name's Bo Warren. I'm from the Department of Transportation, branch manager for construction and maintenance. With us today, we've got Brad Bottoms. He's our chief district engineer. James Beecham, he's the section engineer for Grayson, Breck, and Meade counties. We've got Mark Stone. He's our super 2 for Grayson County for now until he retires. And we've got Mr. Decker. He's our new super 1 with us tonight as well.
Gotcha.
So to begin with, I'd like to explain how our rural secondary program is funded. It's funded by 22.2% of the motor fuels tax receipts. These funds are allocated to all 120 counties based on a 5-point formula, and that formula is based on 1/5 equally among all counties, 1/5 based on the rural population, 1/5 based on the road miles, and 2/5 based on the land area. And once that money is allocated to a county, it cannot be transferred to another county. So our program this year, our first priority is always going to be our routine maintenance and traffic for the county. So that's for our maintenance crews to be able to perform ditching, snow and ice removal, and all those kinds of items. Our second priority is the county judge executive expense. Well, our routine maintenance and traffic is $716,000 for this upcoming year. County judge expense is $3,875. The flex funds appropriation for Grayson County is $367,170. And our fourth priority is going to be a resurfacing project on 1214 from the Hart County line from mile point 0 to Kentucky 479 at mile point 1.94 for a total distance of 1.94 miles at an estimated cost of $275,708. Our fifth priority is a asphalt resurfacing project on Kentucky 736 from Kentucky 79 at mile point 0 to US 62 at mile point 2.882 for a total distance of 2.882 miles and an estimated cost of $319,583. Our sixth priority is an asphalt resurfacing project on Kentucky 2778 from Kentucky 1214 at mile point 0 to Hackney Road at mile point 2.272 for a total distance of 2.72 miles and an estimated cost of $298,454 miles. And our last priority is some pavement repair work on Kentucky 878 at approximately mile point 0.2 at an estimated cost of $10,000. So all that total together is $1,990,790 for our total RS program for the year.
Any questions, Magistrate?
That's from the 54 side, that 878, is that 2/10 from 54 going in? I guess that hump probably.
It's the hump.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought.
Okay. No questions or anything? I got some.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
When's the roundabout starting that everybody's dreading so much?
Which one?
Which one is it?
The one that Mark approved.
What, Mark? The Stone Memorial Roundabout?
Yeah. The one at 62 in Walmart. We've heard some grumblings of it, and I've talked to you a little bit about it.
You may see us out there as early as next month.
Really?
Correct.
Wow.
So that,
We're waiting on a master agreement to work its way through the process and asphalt plants to open up and be able to get asphalt base.
Okay. Is it in the project to also do one at 920 and 1214?
There is a project identified in the highway plan for both those intersections. That's state funded, it's set up in the highway plan, and that's one of those categories that's significantly over-programmed, far more projects than there are dollars for. So I can't say when those may happen, but the one there at 62, we have funding for it specifically, and it'll start the same year. So
Is it rumor or truth that the bypass is going to have a
It has a
roundabout?
roundabout at US 62
it
intersection.
is true. So once completed, both sides of the bypass at 62 will be roundabouts. That's correct.
Is it supposedly gonna be one of the biggest ones in the state? Somebody has mentioned that, and of course,
No,
like I said, we just heard stuff, and since we got you here, we thought we,
No, it won't be any larger than
A normal roundabout?
A normal roundabout. Now, we have set it up to easily expand in the future. As that area grows, it may need 2 lanes in some directions, turning out towards the school, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the initial construction will be a single lane roundabout. But we've set it up so we can easily expand it in the future if need be. So that may be where
Doing
some
all
of
the
that,
grade work in advance. so
yeah, that may be where some of that discussion started. So,
got you, okay.
but that roundabout likely, that won't be open to traffic till next year sometime with the new bypass, so.
Got you. Are you all rerouting traffic or anything for the construction of the bypass? Which, the bypass, it's been left, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, they've already started clearing work.
Okay,
And most of the work's gonna be off alignment, so there really won't be a major impact to current traffic on any of the existing routes.
Until you get to-
some of it starts opening up, except for some equipment crossings or some temporary widening work for some of the,
I mean, basically, the only road you got to cross is gonna be 62, right? I mean,
We're crossing 62, we
62.
tie into 54, so there'll be some turn lanes added on 54.
Okay.
And then the city street down by the car wash, across from the existing bypass.
up towards the
There'll be
dump.
some impacts there, and they'll have to route around different ways.
will it disrupt like the transfer station or anything like that?
It will require some rerouting of those, and yeah, it will require them to manipulate the traffic flow at times till they get the approach and everything constructed for it.
Gotcha, okay. All right.
Question. Short Creek, caution lights.
It should be lit up today.
Man, I hope so, and I personally have almost been hit twice in the last 2 weeks, and I've had a lot of people, you know, some people think that we're responsible for it, which we're not, but I just get a lot of calls about it. And I've had a lot of people suggest stuff like, is there any way we could put the LED flashing stop signs on 79, or just something extra to help keep people from?
The young lady that I had call you, which lives in Darren's district, I think her daughter was involved in an accident.
Correct.
And, I mean, I mean, people's been going through 54 for years. I mean, it'd be tough to put in a red light, I understand that. But is there anything that you could put on the 79 side? Cause I knew like on the bypass, when we had so many fatalities on the bypass, that, you know, we ended up putting the solar flashing, you know, something to catch your eye a little bit more. And
The most effective thing we found in other areas like that is what we call rumble strips.
Yeah.
So in that approach lane coming up to the stop sign, you put the thermoplastic stripe, but they are
Perpendicular
loud
to
and,
traffic.
yeah, perpendicular to traffic. There's 3 sets of them as you come up to the stop sign.
Yeah.
And that makes people pay attention that something's happening. Now, if there's any houses in the area, a complaint you will hear is that they hear that through the night and everything else. So
you got the store on one side.
Right.
I don't think there'd be a problem with that if you could install those, but is the flashing LED stop signs not an option? I've seen them, you know, I'm sure you all have too as
Kids
well.
like to still.
that is the biggest concern.
People still,
Yeah, that's the biggest concern in the rural area like that, because they have the LEDs in them, and then they also have a solar panel on them. So we put them out there, and they don't last very long, to be honest. So outside of that, I mean, it is possible. We do have them a couple places in the district. We have a set in Campbellsville in a similar situation, but that's pretty open area that's less likely to be stolen. So that's our experience in other places. But again, the rumble strips would be my suggestion if we want to do something different there.
I would almost think with the community in Short Creek, that everybody that has lived down there over the years, if, and there's some people that live here in that area, is that if they ever caught someone stealing those signs,
wish they had.
it'd be a mutiny. So I mean, if there's anything else that you could do for, the 79 side, I understand the 54's got to run straight through. But if there's anything that could be done on the 79 side, even if, I mean,
So,
our road guys are here right now. We have signs stolen every single day.
right.
So, they're not gonna steal the caution light that's been recently put up because of the accident. So if we could do that, maybe the rumble strips to,
Okay.
to alert people.
The rumble strips is fairly easy to do. We can add that to our contract for this year. I can talk to our traffic engineer about that.
Yeah.
Something else we have talked about internally at that intersection is turning it into a four-way stop instead of a two-way stop like it is now. The traffic is fairly consistent on all four legs. I know it's a major change to those that drive through there and have been doing so their whole life. But there's other states, North Carolina specifically, that has done a lot of those four-way stop conversions, and they have some really good data that they do make a significant difference in accidents. But I know that's a major change for the community and folks that drive through there every day, so.
That might be something that you
Well,
could
there's-
do, some type of survey, social media survey or something, see, because
There's more heavy truck traffic on 54 than there is 79. That's the thing.
There is, so, and that's always a consideration, but with a four-way stop, two people have to make a mistake to have a bad accident versus just one side or the other, so. That is an option we could discuss, but the rumble strips is something we could definitely do if you don't think there's anybody there that would complain about the noise. That is something we hear pretty often with those, but.
I don't know that is anybody on the Caneyville 79 side that would, Darren?
I would say put them in, and then, if it's too big a problem, we'll take them out. They're probably
It wouldn't
not-
be an issue on the other side, on the Rough River side, that wouldn't be
But
an
there's
issue.
only one house there
And
on
one house right
79.
there.
Yeah, there's only
By the
one
creek,
house
yeah.
back through there, and it.
And by the creek, that house I know.
On any other side, there's not, but that one house right there.
Okay. Yeah, let me talk to our traffic engineer about that. That's something we could potentially do this spring as soon as the stripers get out.
That'd be
and
great.
working on things, so.
People would appreciate it too, so.
And we could start there and then work our way towards other options if needed, so.
I'm still gonna ask you to put the stop signs up with the lights on them.
The flashing
Whether
stop
you all
signs.
do or not, I'm still gonna ask you, just,
So again,
I thought of the same
those,
lives.
we don't have those on a contract anywhere. The ones in Campbellsville were put in with the project, so I don't know if we can even get a hold of those right now, but I'll check on that and see, so.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Anything else from, you all got anything else?
We do not unless you all have any questions on any other.
Any other questions? Anything?
Previously let projects, but, other than that.
Was anything getting done 187 this time? You know what?
187 from Edmonson County to Phelps Johnson Road's already lit.
Okay.
So it'll get
It's
paid
got a
this year.
completion date of 6/30/25.
Okay. I'd heard that, and I just was kind of,
Yeah. It, when 259's turned out, it's better, since it's got done. Is there was a project, me and you talked about, going from the bridge down to Bear Creek Bridge?
That's correct. It's in the highway plan as well. It's that same category of funding as the roundabouts. It's state funded.
Gotcha.
And statewide, there's about 3 times as many projects as there is funding available. So as of right now, it's not moving anywhere.
Okay, gotcha.
But it is in the highway plan at least, which is always the first step.
Yeah, because we've got our shift meeting, I think, Tuesday, right?
That's correct, yes.
Those roundabouts ain't gonna be very popular.
No, they won't.
No, but they save lives.
Yeah, and we have enough, we have close to 20 on the ground in our 11 counties now, and so we have a lot of data local to our counties here. And we're seeing about an 80% reduction in injury and fatality accidents, and about a 30% reduction in overall accidents. So there's still some fender benders, but the bad accidents largely go away. And that's consistent from E-Town to Springfield, everywhere.
How many of y'all have in Hardin County now?
12, I believe. And we got a few more that we're gonna be building this year, and we've got 2 in Springfield, another one on the way, a few in Bardstown. So we're getting more and more of them on the ground, so.
Gotcha.
And
Any questions?
I know the square and the old courthouse is functions a little bit differently with some yield conditions, but as far as traffic concerned, it's very similar to a roundabout. So
Yeah.
in Bardstown and other communities that have those traffic squares, it hasn't been an issue because people really are used to that movement, so.
Right. Okay. All right, well, we appreciate it.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on. Next we have, we're not gonna go in order here, we'll do the Grayson County Conservation District's annual budget. We have the best teacher that has ever come out of Grayson County. We invited him tonight, and unfortunately, Teddy White couldn't make it. So, Mr. Shull.
Thank you, sir. You haven't changed a damn. Don't put that in the minutes. Okay, because we have extra things here, this is gonna be a little more abbreviated than it has in the past, but we'll give it our best shot. In accordance to KRS 262.200 and House Bill 1, we are presenting our annual budget to request operating funds for the upcoming fiscal year and to give you a brief, very brief overview of some of the programs that are available at our office. In our attempt to reach out to the different citizens in the community, each year we celebrate Arbor Day by distributing tree seedlings to the schools and interested landowners. We also provide the opportunity for 2 students to attend conservation camp in the summertime. We operate a 10-foot John Deere no-till drill to help reduce erosion. We rent it to landowners in the county, and we have a reimbursement program for the disposition of dead animals, hopefully to keep our water as clean as we can. We work alongside NRCS, FSA, and other state agencies to aid in providing financial assistance through various programs such as the State Cost Share Program, the Conservation Stewardship Program, the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, and the Conservation Reserve Program. These programs financially assist local farmers and allow them to enhance the productivity on their farms while promoting conservation at the same time. In turn, that money also boosts the revenue for county-owned businesses and the local farmers patronize. And with that, you have our budget, I believe, submitted to you, and so we humbly ask for your approval. Thank you.
All right, any questions?
Yeah. Questions?
There was one that they had about the 5% increase, which we actually pay the $50,950, and which would be asking for $53,450, right?
5,300?
53,000.
Yes,
Yeah, $53,450.
$450. That's correct.
And I told Robin on the phone, I said, the reason I had some of the boards to be here and the engineer to explain exactly, Darren knew a little bit about it because most of the watersheds is on his, but
Right.
explain a little bit about what this money goes for, which you just did, but,
You're talking about the money that we're requesting from you?
correct.
Okay, the bulk of the money that we request from you will go to pay our office staff because she is a county employee. Help me if I make a mistake. But in this case, we provide her insurance and her benefits out of that money because we cannot get her under the umbrella of the other county employees. So the bulk of our funds that we bring into the county will come from outside agencies, as we've mentioned, which of course mostly federal. For example, the CRP, I think, generates around $475,000 a year income. CSP is substantially less than that, but it helps reduce erosion. But the increases that we have not asked you for an increase for the last 3 or 4 years. I don't think any of you guys that are seated here have ever been requested for an increase in money. Unfortunately, as you noticed when you went to the grocery, prices have not stayed the same, and neither has our insurance cost. And that is one of our biggest items that we have in addition for her. Did I answer it to your satisfaction?
Unless they've got any questions. And the reason is because some of their constituents ask them exactly, you know, they want to know. There's so many moving parts to all of this and everything else that we do. That's why I wanted everybody to go over it a little bit better.
Correct. We are a small cog in the machinery, and you guys are the bigger cogs, but we are handling public money.
Yes.
So therefore, we need to be as accountable and as transparent as possible.
And a lot of your all's funding comes federally for the help of the farmers and people like
Yes.
that out in the community.
And then we got some from the state. They're a much
Right.
lesser item, but you know that as well in your dealings.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Any questions, magistrates, anybody? I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Darren,
Second.
second by Brian, all in favor.
Aye.
All right, next we need to accept, I'm gonna go down the line in these two, let's see. The Big Reedy District Annual Budget, anybody here for that?
That would be me, I guess, again. Don't live in Big Reedy. We are not the dominant county for that.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, we do submit it. And it has been approved by our board and then, of course, submitted to you guys for approval. I have Short Creek.
you all got these sent to you, right?
Right.
All these budgets?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got sent it.
Right here.
Yeah.
I don't have the- I've just got Short Creeks. I don't have a Big Reedy budget.
You all got the Big Reedy on your phone?
We all got them.
Yeah.
If you all got them, I mean,
We
if there's
got
not,
them. You done got them.
if there's not any questions.
No. No.
Bingo. I'm
I
mistaken.
was gonna
We do
say
have
they've
one.
already got it too, Mr.
Okay.
Johnson.
As you can see, their budget is fairly limited. We only have 2 watershed lakes that we're involved with Big Reedy. One is there right at the county line, used to be called the Gold Mattingly Lake, I think.
Go, yep.
That, I'm old, I go way back for that one. And then we have one right on downstream. But theirs is, this money would be for their maintenance.
Is that the CK Lee like they used to call it?
No, CK Lee, I believe, is part of the Caney Creek project. This one is actually almost straight down 185 and off to the west just a little bit. I've been down there a couple of times.
It's not Grayson County.
You know, it is not in our county.
I know where it is.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's west, Big Reedy.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay,
Any questions about the budget for the? All right, we need a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion.
Accept it, I'm sorry, accept it.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neil,
Second.
second, who's that, Ben? Second by Ben, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we've got Caney Creek Watershed Annual Budget.
okay. My compatriot back here says that I'm able to defend that just as well. Thank you very much. Okay, on that one, it is rather substantial. Of course, Darren, you are probably more familiar with these than I am, since you have most of those lakes in your district.
Yes.
And do you have a question for me about this?
Is there any questions about the budget?
No, see, you all had a problem with one of them, right? That was Dog Creek, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be addressed.
Yeah, we have
It's coming up later,
expertise
right?
here. on
Yeah,
that
that's,
specifically.
we're gonna have that, we're gonna back up and go to
I don't have any
the
questions
engineer.
about
This is just accepting the budget, so.
Okay.
I don't have any questions about it.
All right, need a motion to accept Caney Creek's budget.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we got Short Creek up.
You're on the road.
Thank you very much. I have another compatriot.
Yeah,
All right, we would like to present this. These have all been approved by our local board, of which I'm involved, and so we submit those to you as well. And any other problems that we have, we're going to shift over to our technical advisor. But just as far as the monetary part is concerned, we would submit this budget to you, well, for acceptance.
Any questions or concerns, anything? Nothing? Motion to accept.
Motion.
Motion by Ben, second by Darren. All in favor? All right, next we're gonna go to the Watersheds Engineering Report. So if you all wanna go ahead, and I told Robin that it would be a good idea because there was some issues and some of the magistrates asked some questions about how all this was done, who was on the boards. You know, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts to it, so I thought, well, it'd be a good idea for y'all to come up and just let everybody know. Because, you know, some people don't.
Yeah, so my name's Fanny Yee. I'm the district conservationist for Natural Resources Conservation Service here in Grayson County. We're an agency under the Department of Agriculture, Federal Department of Agriculture. And so today we're really just bringing to your awareness some of the damage that has occurred over the last few storms this year on these watershed lakes. The packet that is in front of you has some maps for both Caney Creek and Short Creek, and then specifically photos of the damage that are on the watershed lakes, one watershed lake in each of the watershed districts. The districts, of course, are much bigger than just the watershed lake that has the damage. And so also maybe kind of starting the conversation about how this might get fixed. Today with us, trying to think which way we should go. Caney Creek, we've got Mr. Mike Pierce, Chairman for the Caney Creek Watershed Conservancy District Board. We've also got Grayson Frame, the Secretary Treasurer, Matt Forley, one of the board members. And then on the Short Creek Watershed Conservancy District Board, we've got Joy Porter, who's also the Treasurer's Secretary. And then I've also got Mr. Eric Phillips, who is our area engineer out of our E-Town office for NRCS. So I'm gonna let him describe a little bit the damage, and then also kind of give you a little overview of the emergency watershed protection program that which is a federal program that might have some funds to assist with some of these repairs. Thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Again, I'm Eric Phillips. I'm the civil engineer that works kind of the central part of Kentucky. I've been working in Grayson County since 2003. So I know the area, I know the people, I know the landscape. The western part of the county, you all know, you got plenty of watershed dams. Those are kind of underappreciated infrastructure. You know, they keep floods from ever becoming an issue in the first place. You know, a lot of people don't even realize what it was like before they were constructed, how often Caney Creek flooded, how often Short Creek flooded. So our agency built those dams in conjunction with those watershed districts, Caney, Short, Big Reedy, and the main goal is to provide flood protection. Nothing is maintenance free, nothing is foolproof, and we've already talked about those budgets. That's just for keeping them mowed, keeping them maintained. When we have events like we had back in mid-February, where we had 6 inches of rain on frozen, snow-covered ground, all three of the, probably 70% of those watershed structures had flow through the auxiliary spillway. And the auxiliary spillway is basically just some call it an emergency spillway. So when the dam is full and it can no longer go through the pipe, it goes around the dam through the spillway to protect the dam itself. So these three structures in particular had the most damage. And one of them is on Dog Creek, which is Caney Creek Floodwater Retention Structure. You'll hear FRS, you'll see that in a lot of the paperwork, FRS number 9. So it had severe erosion to its exit channel. Short Creek, FRS number 8A, same thing, and then Big Reedy, I think it's number 9, had damage, and it's the one in Grayson County right off 185. That being said, the original operation and maintenance agreements, you know, NRCS did the studies, NRCS did the initial construction, and then it was the watershed district's responsibilities to upkeep, maintain. What happened in February is beyond what we would call typical operation and maintenance, okay? So NRCS has a mechanism, and it's called the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. We call it EWP for short. It allows federal funds to go through a local sponsor. So in this case, the local sponsor could be Grayson County Fiscal Court, it could be Caney Creek Watershed Conservancy District, it could be Short Creek or Big Green Creek. You know, all four of you are considered a local unit of government. The reason I'm coming here today is it's purely optional. You know, nothing says you have to do this as Grayson County Fiscal Court. Nothing says you're obligated to do this. It's purely up to you. It's your choice. The benefit is for every, well, it's a 75-25 cost share. So for every $4 you spend, you'll get $3 back from the U.S. federal government. We've done this program in the past in Grayson County. It was during the ice storm in 2009 and some of the floods the previous years in 2010 and 11. Back then, a lot of it was debris removal. You know, the channels were clogged with debris and sticks. We partnered with Grayson County Fiscal Court for 2 roads where we cleaned it out of culverts, and we partnered with Caney Creek to get some of the debris that had fallen out in the spillways, or the spillways that had washed, kind of just like now. The reason we're coming to you today is we've got 3 different boards, and we don't know the best way that them plus you would like to tackle the problem. You know, we can have, and again, this is your choice. If you elect to do it, we can have one project agreement with Grayson County, and then you guys can have separate deals with Caney, Short, and Big Reedy, you know, depending on, you know, what they would like to do. And that contribution, so it doesn't have to be just cash. So you can keep up with your expensive, whether it's be labor, whether it be equipment cost, if you want to get your county road department involved and use their trucks to bring rock in or dirt in or whatever it might be, it does not have to be cash contributions. So I've got a pamphlet. All you have to do right now, if you're interested, my suggestion, talk to your watershed chairmen and treasurers, see what they want to do, see if you can come to an agreement. But all it takes to start the process is to send a letter to our big boss in Kentucky. His name's Eric Allness, the state conservationist. We've got the form letter. All you gotta do is put in your information and say, hey, we've had damage from the storms in mid-February. We would like consideration for the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. At that point, we've already been out and looked at the dams because that's part of our responsibilities to make sure they're being well kept up with. We'll come out, we'll do another damage survey report. We'll give you estimates at that time, what the potential cost would be, what the potential fixes are, and at that point, you can either say, yes, we want to do this, or you still have an outlet at that time to say, this is way too much, we're not interested in EWP, we'll fix it on our own. If you go that route, it would be on your own. I'm not saying you specifically, but you know, between the boards and you, at that point in time, it would be on them. We will still provide technical assistance. I'll still come out and survey. We can still come up with designs. You know, whatever the dams need, we'll be there to facilitate. We're just bringing this to your attention, kind of like Fanny said. And there's the opportunity there to get 75% of the repairs funded by the federal government as opposed to 100% of the repairs if they're interested in repairing them. But these dams, I would hate to think what it would cost to build a dam back, you know, as far as the litigation and the environmental studies and all that. You know, you've got.
Has any of the dams been compromised?
The spillways have.
Oh, yeah.
The dams themselves have not at this time. But the spillway, again, it's just a channel around the dam. So if the spillway keeps eroding back, eventually you'll use the spillway, and then you'll start to lose the water in the lake as well. So The one on Short Creek is probably the worst. We had the engineers from Lexington down today. We were looking at it. They were coming up with really, really rough ideas on potential fixes. You know, obviously, we don't have a full design yet, but they were thinking somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000 to fix Short Creek. Caney Creek will probably be half of that, somewhere between 50 and 100. And then Big Reedy, its damage is not as extensive. We're probably looking at 10 to 25,000 on that. But again, all those numbers are rough. Once we do the damage survey and we get that official estimate.
As part of Big Reedy, I mean, do we have anybody on Big Reedy's board from Grayson County? There's not, is there?
And I've had conversations with them. They've already gone out and made quotes, and they may elect to fix it on their own because it's a smaller damage.
Just
It's
part
a
of
smaller
that, part of
dollar
that,
amount.
part of that watershed's only in the county, right? Just
Right.
Yeah,
It splits between Grayson and Livingston.
if you look at that first page map, it's the green circles on the bottom.
Okay. Gotcha.
But there's an EWP program. I can talk to you more about that, you know, anytime you want. Again, it's 75-25 reimbursement. You can use in-kind contributions. It's purely voluntary, but we have to have a sponsor. This is not something that the federal government can just come in and say, we're gonna fix this dam. We have to have a partner to come along beside us that say, we've had this damage, we would like to get it fixed with your assistance.
They don't have any kind of emergency backup plan to the federal government step in and take care of all of it? Any kind of dire emergency plan like for the dams at Short Creek, for example? You said that's the worst one. I've seen it. I've been up there. And if that thing breaks, it's gonna be a big problem downstream.
Yes, I agree. Everything's relative. So the Short Creek Dam is considered low hazard, so we don't have houses downstream of it like we do on some of the other ones. Like I know Walnut Grove is considered high hazard. Some of the other watershed lakes around the area, like especially the ones in E-Town, you know, Freeman Lake is the same dam built under the same program as the ones here. But, you know, comparison's sake, Freeman Lake's considered high hazard and the ones on Short Creek are low, just because we don't have any life-threatening structures downstream of it.
Well, Short Creek's a little different. It's not taxed. Does that matter? Like if it's a non-taxable, would there be any extra funding we could get from the government to fix that?
Not through the
Because-
EWP program. Now, there's other avenues that you can dig up, but the EWP program is set at 75-25. The only caveat is if you're in a limited resource area, you can get a 90%, 10% rate, but the only counties that apply are in Eastern Kentucky. And that's based on like employment, average income, average housing values. And like I said, we do this, if you remember, last year Eastern Kentucky flooded, and 2 years before that,
Yeah.
Eastern Kentucky flooded. Our staff's been in there working to fix those roads, getting those people out of that. So we've done this in those counties, and even some of the counties in Eastern Kentucky are still 75-25. I'm not saying it's impossible to get the 90-10 rate. I'm just saying the best information I have at this time is all of Grayson County is 75-25.
Does it matter if, and I'm asking a lot, but does it matter if, like when most of the damage was done to this lake was when Governor Beshear declared a state of emergency for flooding? Is there anything that would, because of being, at that time, being declared a state of emergency would help?
Well, so understand that EWP has been activated for us in the state because of that declaration.
Right. President Trump declared the whole state federally available for funding. So that big hurdle, usually we have to prove that hurdle, but that hurdle's already been cleared. Beshear and Trump have already called it a storm event. I've already looked at the sites. The state engineer has already looked at the sites out of Lexington. We've already determined that the damage is eligible for the program. And so there's really no holdup other than we just need that sponsor to say, we're gonna come alongside and sponsor the work. After that, we'll come up with the plans, we'll come up with the specs, the cost estimates, and then it's up to you guys to quote unquote pull the trigger on, yes, we wanna do this, and we're gonna provide the trucks and the equipment and the labor, and then maybe the watershed boards, they say, well, we'll buy the rock and the baskets to fix the the lake, but those are conversations for you guys to have. You don't want the federal government meddling on who's gonna do what. We just need, and the first thing that starts the process is that request letter. It's non-binding, it doesn't get you on the hook. All it does is say, we would like to investigate this process, and that letter has to be in by April 17th. It has to be 60 days after the event, and the event was February 15th and 16th. So you don't have to do anything tonight. You can talk about it, you make phone calls, you can ask for the letter, and we can get you that letter.
What's the benefit of the board doing it and the fiscal court doing it?
The only benefit I saw was, with the limited funds that the board has, we would hate to take all their operating budgets and have that be the 25%. If you guys could use in-kind work, or, you know, a combination, if they've got equipment on the boards, or.
Why couldn't we, they could say there was using in-kind work and we still perform the work? It'd be the same difference, right?
That would get a little tricky because your county road department aren't employed by Caney Creek Watershed District. So if they were the main sponsor, the in-kind work would have to be their in-kind work. You know, at that point, it'd almost be like you guys were a separate contractor providing the work. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but it could be a little bit different, I guess is a good way to put it, if you went that route.
When you was talking about Short Creek, that was the most expensive one. Did I hear you right? Did you say between 100 and 200,000?
Yes, sir.
Is there any way, I'm not trying to put any pressure on you, is there any way of trying to get a closer estimate? Because that's a big variance.
Well,
You
we
know.
can do that, and we're happy to do that. And again, if you say we're interested in this program, we'll give you an assessment, we'll give you a more detailed breakdown of the project, you know.
It's a little more easier to be interested if it's a cheaper estimate.
Well, we can be interested in get the estimate.
Yeah.
Like we're on the hook.
And again, that's all, and your cost, whether that's cash or in kind, would only be 25% of that. So
Yeah.
if it's a $100,000 fix, you're getting it for $25,000.
And the April 17th date is just a request to start this process, right? It doesn't commit you or anyone to anything.
We could bail out in time if we decided against it.
Right, and we can suss out after, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but we can suss out after that request is made, after that design is made up, whether or not Grayson County Fiscal Court can be a line item as in kind to them sponsoring, or vice versa. Can they be in kind as a line item to you all sponsoring? We can look into that.
Well, I would think it'd be possible because we do that all the time with FEMA, with like the city and the county working together, and you can use those. We can use the city for in kind as far as it is out in the county. I wouldn't think it'd be possible, but my question would be is there? I know some of these are taxing districts and some are not. So my question is don't some of these boards have funds to?
I guess I'll speak. The budgets that you have on hand is all the cash that.
Well,
they
I know
have.
Short Creek doesn't have a taxing district,
Right, so
right, Joey?
Caney Creek
Correct.
does have, does claim millage tax, Short Creek does not. They started off, in the inception, started off with a 21,000
Trust fund.
trust fund from all of those constituents, and has grown it to the number on your budget sheet today. What we didn't provide, and I apologize, Division of Conservation had made up this little pamphlet about what happens when a watershed conservancy district discontinues due to lack of funds, lack of interest. And we can forward that on to you all.
Tell us what happens.
What
That's why I
happens.
wanted you to tell them.
What happens? I believe, and I hope I'm not speaking it wrong, but I believe what happens is because the watershed conservancy districts, both of them are considered under the Grayson County Conservation District umbrella, Should one of those watershed conservancy districts discontinue, then all of that operation and maintenance responsibilities and functions of that district will then fall back on the conservation district. Now, the Grayson County Conservation District, I believe, is under the Grayson County Fiscal Court umbrella, and so should the Grayson County Conservation District, who is also not on millage tax, have to discontinue and go defunct because they're not capable of continuing those operations, then those responsibilities would fall onto fiscal court. We will definitely forward you that handout sheet that makes those references to Kentucky regulation statute.
So if any of the taxing districts decide to dissolve, and they're not appointed by the fiscal court, they're self-appointed, right? The watershed district?
They're elected officials.
The watershed?
What's that? Yeah, the what?
The board members, they're all elected. They're all elected. Well, not elected, I'm sorry.
They get a petition signed within the area.
Yeah.
And then that comes to our board.
Okay.
And they approve it. And that's as far as it goes, as far as the elected.
Okay. That's why, because some of them had asked, and that's why I wanted you all to come here to tell us all this and how this works out.
Fanny's right. I mean, and we get into this sometimes, not necessarily for damage on the spillways like you guys have, but it might be more of a high hazard. A low hazard dam is now a high hazard, and these people move downstream and they're like, well, you need to fix the dam. And like, well, what if we don't fix the dam? Well, all right, you're going to get fined by Division of Water Dam Safety. And they're like, well, we're not paying those fines. And then they said, well, we'll just dissolve. And so then the watershed board dissolves, and then it goes to the conservation district, and they're like, well, we don't want the liability, we don't want to fool with these dams, and so then they dissolve, and it comes to fiscal court, and so then you got the state fining the county, so they're kind of fining themselves, and so the bottom line in all of that is eventually it's going to come back to the fiscal court if it all goes south real quick, you know.
It kind of already is, because I tell you what's happening when every time it rains now, and has been for the last, ever since the dam started overflowing, it's turning a road up down at Tallahassee. I mean, here in Cemetery Road, you know, it's eating our blacktop out down through there to the bridge. Of course, we repaved that this year, but.
And when we first realized it, you know, we talked to Short Creek and it was like, we've got to come up with plans to get that lake dewatered. We're trying our best. You know, we've got 3 siphons working right now to drop that water level down so the spillway doesn't flow as often. And that's one of those deals where like, we're trying, but we're trying not to spend $50,000 to bring a pump in.
Yeah,
and
Joey's
figure out the budget. And Joey's done a good job.
Yeah, he spent a lot
He's a
of
one-man
time.
wedding band. You know.
Yeah.
Eric, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The sponsor, no matter who it is, they gotta put up all the money to start with. And after the job's complete, and then you guys pay the 75?
Right, it's a request for reimbursement, so you guys go through all of it after the project's done. Now, the project could be in lots of different parts, so we could have an initial phase, and you could get a partial payment, and you could have a secondary
That's
phase.
what I was gonna ask you. to get
Right, but yes, it's not a grant like FEMA, you don't get the check up front. It's like all of our programs, you get the check after the work's completed. The good part is, after the check's completed, it usually only takes about 2 to 3 weeks for the electronic money to process. It's not as big of a payment issue as you have with FEMA, where it might take longer. So,
Well, those baskets, does that have to be done by a certified contractor of some sort, or?
no, the way this works, we'll come up with the designs and specs, and we'll have an inspector from NRCS out there to ensure that the baskets are being laced the right way and put in the right spots. And
So y'all show us how to do a few of them by hand, putting those rocks in them?
oh, absolutely, yeah, we'll bring our gloves.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
If Caney Creek applies for the EWP,
Yes, sir.
that doesn't help Short Creek.
No, and that's.
They would
again,
have to apply separate.
Right, and that's why we wanted to come here and have everybody involved, because if fiscal court says, we want to do this because we got the trucks and the equipment, and then you guys work out side deals amongst yourselves, that's your business. The other option is, we make an agreement with Caney Creek, and then we make an agreement, a separate one with Short Creek. And so, their $100,000, $200,000 project, they're responsible for the 25%, whether that's cash or in-kind contributions. Same thing with you guys. So, and you don't have to go along with fiscal court. If you wanted to have a agreement just with us, that's fine. But the sponsors' responsibilities are to get land rights, to make sure that all the permits are done, and we'll help you with the permits. But the land rights and the access are the big things. And I thought, well, if Grayson County Fiscal Court had, you know, trucks or equipment, then that could be in-kind work and maybe help. They're basically getting their labor subsidized for a little bit. You guys can get, you know, you buy the baskets of the rock. But again, those are decisions for you guys to make. not
What's some of the
necessarily-
board's thoughts on it?
I don't know, I was kinda confused on the 75-25, I thought the sponsor just, liable for the 25, not the whole thing, and get reimbursed, but
You can borrow them.
I don't know, on behalf of the Short Creek, we couldn't afford to sponsor ourselves doing that. There's no way we could, so.
It'd be nice if we had a more accurate estimate on that. There's just a big variance there between 100, 200,000. I mean, I know it's hard to tell without going through all the channels to determine that exact amount. And so I know y'all got a little money.
Me personally, I mean, I don't know, it's ultimately up to the magistrates, but I think it would be better if, and of course, I'd like to find out whether or not fiscal court could donate in kind if they took the project. But I think the respective boards needs to actually take the projects themselves and fill out for the grant. That way they're, I mean, because each individual one has to do it separately, correct?
If Caney wants to work on Caney's Dam and get the NRCS's money, then yes, we have to have a separate project agreement.
I think that would be the direction to go, and even, and let them do it, and then, of course, they've got a taxing district, and of course, you know, I don't know, they might be in the same shape that Short Creek's in, but then we as fiscal court could, the upfront cost, like Joey was saying, that they couldn't afford to do that, you know, well, they got, I mean, you just seen their budget, they ain't got that in there to fix it.
Right.
Then we loan them the money, and then once they get reimbursement on the grant, they can give that money back.
And if that's the agreement you want to work out, that's fine. Again, as far as Eric Phillips is concerned in NRCS, nothing happens until one of y'all send him a letter and say,
yeah, and that's why I'm
we're
asking.
interested in pursuing this.
You know, I don't know what you all,
The other thing,
You know.
and the other thing is, you have to have a tax EIN number. You know what I mean? Like, it's the federal government. We don't write checks, we don't pay in cash. So you have to have an electronic account that they can send that money to. And I know we've had it in the past with Caney Creek because we worked with you guys a couple years ago. So Short Creek might have to get
y'all still got one? you know?
electronic banking set up.
I will say one thing, on our maintenance budget for Caney Creek, I think we got last year's, I'm going by last year's thing, I think we received about 58,000 on the millage tax that we received. And then our maintenance was a little over 40,000. And we didn't get all the projects done we was aiming to do. The weather,
Yeah.
just turned off bad where we couldn't get it all done.
Yeah.
So we had, we'd have spent, if we got everything done we were supposed to do.
You'd have spent it all.
We'd spent over. you
Yeah.
know.
What's your all's thoughts on this, how to do this for the best course of action?
We don't have enough money.
I mean, what'd you say it was for the estimate for?
For
Creek?
Dog Creek, I'm thinking if we can get the borrow downstream, and that goes back to the land rights, you remember when we were looking at that area?
Yeah.
If you can get the borrow from there, it'll be a lot cheaper. If you have to bring in fill material down that road, then this cost is gonna skyrocket.
Yeah.
But it's got, I would
It's 50 to
recommend,
100,000.
I would estimate somewhere around 50 to 100,000.
And see, like I said, that would still be, I mean, putting us in the negative, you know.
Yeah.
And that's us not
That's not doing anything else.
not really doing anything else.
Right. Of course, I mean, you know, we could do the same. I mean, it'd just basically be a wash. It'd keep you, you know, we just basically upfront the money for what it would cost. But the board itself would fill out for the grant. You follow me? But I mean, any of the watersheds, I mean, we're gonna have, I'm almost positive that they could, that the road department, even if it's in their name, with them being a taxing district and even Short Creek not being a taxing district, I think we can do in-kind donation.
I can follow up with that and get an
I'd
answer
be shocked
back
if
to
they
you
said
guys.
no, and if not, we'll have to go a different direction.
Okay.
I mean, it's gotta be done.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no, it ain't,
No, yeah.
it ain't a matter of, nah, we ain't gonna do it, it's gotta be done.
When I talked to Beth Harridan, she's one of the dam safety engineers for Kentucky Division of Dam Safety. We were looking at some of the dams in E-Town, and I brought up this subject of what do you do when the sponsor, and I'll just use Short Creek for example. What happens when Short Creek has a dam that needs fixed and it's going to cost, in this case, let's say $200,000, and they don't have it? What do you do in that point? And she said, we have lots of districts like that. We have lots of sponsors of dams like that. She said, I don't have a good answer, but what I tell them is you can either pay for the dam repairs now or you can pay for the litigation later. You know what I mean? And so those were her words. I'm not trying to bluff or scare any of you, but that's what she said to me when I asked the question, you know, and the problem is not going to disappear. And I don't have, I'm not a cop. I'm not, I don't have a badge and a gun. I can't fine you. I'm not regulatory.
Right.
But DOW is, you know, and so when they come to do their inspections and they see.
In the past, what would you suggest the way that this goes?
In the past, they've come up with ways to fix it, but that's why I'm telling you right now that the EWP project, you've got, and again, I hate to use the word opportunity because that gets overused, but you've got a chance here to get 3/4 of it funded by us.
Right, and it needs to be done.
And there is a time frame on it, but that can be extended with just another letter.
Does
to
it
the
matter
Conservation State.
does it matter who sponsors the project?
No, it does not. We'll work with any.
Who fills out the paperwork?
Well, somebody's got, it's the government. I mean, there is paperwork that has to be filled out.
I mean, does that,
So we're hoping, and I want to say that it's not out of the question that either of the districts become sponsors. We can make that work. There is very limited capacity on both watersheds to do that, but we can make that work.
We'll help with the paperwork because we have to help with the other sponsors. We've done it in the past. We tell them, here's the form you've got to fill out, and we'll tell them how to fill it out and sign it. So we can do that. A lot of the burden would fall to Robin more than likely if we sponsor with one of the watershed districts individually.
that's what I was getting at.
Robin can
Robin, are you here?
Yeah, she's hiding back there.
This might make
Can you
force her
handle
to
that?
retirement.
Yeah, make her retire early.
Can you handle that?
Getting close to retirement, so you better watch out.
Well,
Yeah.
if other people are working in the office, they might be doing some of it too.
But we're also hoping that, if there is any other opportunity to leverage other funding that's not federal funding, any state funding that maybe we are not privy to, that could help the cause. It may be easier brought in from fiscal court as opposed to the.
What would be, let me ask you, what would be your suggestion? The way it would go? And the reason is, I'm talking, what, from your experience, what would be the best way?
Well, and I don't have the experience to know how much it would take to get this paperwork done, and you've hit the nail on the head. It's mainly about the paperwork. My suggestion actually, and I don't know if it would float up in state office, but all three, fiscal court, both watershed districts submit the letter. It's just a letter, it's just a request letter. It doesn't commit you to anything. And, you know, fiscal court is asking for the same design damage survey as both watershed districts. And see how it shakes out, and then it can at least keep that door open, and continue that conversation as to, you know.
And we're just sending a letter and up right now, and so you've got a sample letter, I'm
Yes.
assuming?
Yes.
We've got a hard copy, we can send you an
And then
electronic
after,
one.
then after the letter, we get them more, get closer estimate.
Well, and that might give us some time to get with each other and see,
Yeah.
you know.
Right, exactly. Once we get the letter, then we'll do what we call a DSR, a damage survey report, and that gives me time to do the design, to do the surveys, to get you that information. But like now, the only thing that's clicking is that 60-day window from the time of the event. And
Well, the reason I asked about the board, I didn't know if there was any benefit to them doing it versus because they're in the same boat. You know, their funds, one's got 80, what was the other?
One's got 83 and one's got close to 70.
I mean, so they're in the same boat. We're gonna loan money and they're gonna pay us back, so why wouldn't we just put it in the fiscal court's name? We're doing it anyway. You see what I'm saying?
and
So
that's why we wanted to kind of
that's
bring it
the
all out to light
question I was
today.
asking, is there a benefit for one for the other? So,
You're asking in terms of chances of funding?
right.
Oh, no, like I said, it's already been approved. Like,
Mhm.
if you guys sign the letter, we've already looked at the damage and it's already been determined eligible.
Okay.
So it's all in your court now on whether you wanna go through with
Might be
it
easy to go,
or
be
not.
easy, I mean, if we're gonna give loans, that's what me and Angel was talking about, to the different districts,
Mhm.
and they're gonna pay us back. I mean, if we're doing that, I don't know why we wouldn't just run it through us anyway.
Right.
And because we're gonna do the in kind. I mean, it would be better, honestly, probably for us for the boards to do it. But, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. It's something that's got to be taken care of and done. So, and the sooner the better, in my eyes.
Right,
Because, I mean-
and again, I can't stress enough just to have a conversation with each individual board on what they can bring to the table as well. You know, if
Right.
they've got a excavator or they got a guy that knows the lakes and have been mowing them and maintaining them and they want to use him to do some of the excavation or whatever, just have those conversations, you know.
Yeah. Questions? Anybody? You okay, quick on how, I mean, I told y'all it was gonna be a bunch, though. Anything?
I think we'll submit a letter.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and submit a letter. I don't know that we need to vote on it to submit a letter, do we? So, we'll go ahead and get that done.
And I'm in E-Town, I'm only 30 minutes away.
Can-
I'll be happy to come down and
You
do
got a
whatever
card?
needs to be done. I'll get one out of the vehicle,
Please
give it to
do.
Fanny and she'll get it to you.
You're down at the office, Fanny.
Yeah,
aren't you?
I've got cards to give. Mhm.
Okay. And, just get with us and give us the sample letter, and that way we can go ahead and get it sent off. And, we'll go from there. And is there anything that we need to be doing with the boards between now and then?
Yeah, I need your cell number.
I would just have a conversation with them on what they can bring to the table easily and what you guys can bring to the table easily as far as the in-kind contributions.
What would you all prefer on the board? I mean, what's your all thoughts?
Sound like the only way to go to me, like you're doing there, because we're in trouble without you guys.
We are too.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
like I said, if y'all take care of all of it, and I know that's putting more on y'all, but that's gonna cut out a middleman, and that's that third step that you're gonna not have to fool with.
I mean, if we loan you the money, it's just, then you pay us back, the end result's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
So,
And don't hold me to this, but a lot of the cost is probably not gonna be in materials. It's probably gonna be in equipment costs and labor and things of that nature. And so if you've got your road crew down there that you were gonna be paying anyway, you know, eventually somebody's gonna have to buy a truck of rock and buy some baskets. You know, eventually there will be an invoice for some materials, but the large portion of this should be in just equipment costs and labor.
Well, Kenny was interested in knowing that if they're out there working on it, is it a possibility that he could do some fishing plays out there?
I mean, one guy works, 4 guys fish, right? I mean, it's,
As long as he has his license. Yeah, all right, that sounds
well,
good.
thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you all.
If you have any questions after this, I mean, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
thank you all. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Shull, I was just kidding about the Teddy White joke.
Hey, it's okay.
Let me skip
Yes, I'll drop off.
Okay, that works. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm drawing blank. Okay. Moving on, you still got tape in that thing, Sam? All right. Next, we got approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Motion by Darren, second by Neil, all in favor. Next, we got to approve the payment of the bills. Motion by Ben, second by who? Brian, all in favor. Next, we got to approve the treasurer's budget transfers as presented. Motion by Jason, second by Darren, all in favor. And then we've got to approve the treasurer's monthly settlement. Motion by Ben.
Second.
Second by Darren, all in favor. And now we need to approve the jailer's payment of bills.
Make a motion.
Motion by Neil.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor. And then next we need to approve the jailer's budget transfers.
Second.
Motion by Ben and second by Darren, and all in favor. Next, we need to approve the jailer's 25-26 budget he sent to you, and he said if there's any questions, just to ask me. I went over it with him, so is there any questions over it? If not, need a motion to approve. Motion by Brian. Second by Ben, all in favor? And then we need to approve the jailer's set salaries. We need to approve that. Need a motion. Motion by Brian, second by Darren. All in favor? And accept the jailer's policy and procedures, and there's been no changes on the policy procedures.
Motion.
Motion by Darren.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
We got the water district, we got that.
And the sheriff's.
Next we've got to approve the sheriff's monthly settlement. Motion by, who was that? Ben? Second by Jason, all in favor? And then we've got to accept the sheriff's audit for December 31 of 2023.
Motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Neil, all in favor. And we need to approve the sheriff's office grant resolution. Did y'all get a copy of that? Did they send it to you? No, it's a resolution for a grant. So.
Didn't see that in there.
I saw it, there's ammunition and.
There's some ammunition stuff, yeah, it
Yeah.
was, and then
Just a grant
pistols,
for
some pistols,
ammunition.
that's what it
We
was.
talked about that the other day.
Yeah, some pistols and ammunition. It was
It's a
in there.
grant that
He was in there.
They emailed
Yeah, we
it.
got that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's just approval to do a grant.
Make a motion.
Motion by Neil and second by Ben, all in favor? All right, we've done rural and secondary roads, and we need to approve the supplemental agreement for the Buckhorn Lane Bridge project that we finally got approved, so I need a motion for that. Motion by Brian, second by Jason, all in favor? And then we've got a petition to discontinue, revert the last 1.25 miles of Lawrence Hayes Road. Jeremy.
Yes, we think we have everything in order. Petition was filed by the attorney for Glendora, Yoder, and Fiscal properties. They own a large section at the end of Lawrence Hayes Road. They've also filed a petition to revert that section back to the original property. We have Steve Bratcher has provided the affidavit, notice. We've got the publisher's affidavit. The uninterested viewers met with Mr. Bratcher, and they feel there's no public inconvenience that would result from the discontinuance of this part of the road, which is 0.125 miles. And it's just the last little bit. There's a map in there, but if we might want to see, it's the last little bit here. It doesn't inconvenience anyone that we could see. And I've heard nothing in my office, and I don't think anybody's here. It just takes this back into that original property.
All right.
Any questions? Darren, you look like you got one.
No, I was just telling you, that's that new road in your district.
Yeah.
Anything?
No.
Motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Brian, all in favor.
Aye.
All right, next we've got update from fiscal court committees, which we met before the meeting. Everything went smooth as far as the parks, roads committees. Let's see, other new business. Ben?
No, sir.
We've got this estimate from Harp Elections to do some maintenance on our election machines. It's routine maintenance that's done just ever so many years. It's our Veridity drives, Veridity keys, and battery maintenance and stuff like that. The estimate is $7,456.80.
Shouldn't be much on them, I know.
They're older than you think.
How much of it was the, might be in the
$7,456.
Yeah. So to do the maintenance on the machines, I need a motion to approve to pay this to Harp Election Services for $7,456.80.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brian and second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. New business.
No.
You told me to remind you about something. I
He
can't
said
remember.
forgot.
And I can't remember what I
got
told
caught
you.
up in all the big damn projects we just listened to.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. I've got something. I need a motion to approve to pay the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and this will go along with this, what I've got here for something new too, is pay the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet $13,000 for the lot. We've been working on it for a while, and we purchased the lot in between the Parkway and Subway. And it took them a while to get an appraisal and do some stuff and this and that, but anyway, we can sell that to at a later date in case a major restaurant comes in or a hotel chain or something, and it's that big lot in between the exit ramp and Subway. And we got it for $13,000, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it approved. I've signed the paperwork and everything on it, so need a motion to do
Motion.
that. Motion by Brian, motion by Darren, second by Brian, all in favor. Let's see.
What are you here for, Jeff? Over there grinning.
Yeah, Jeff, what are you doing? Next thing is the Grayson County Tire Collection. Matt and Sam, if you all could, I'll give you a copy of this. This is the one that you can bring as many as you want. And so it's the big tire collection thing, so we need to let everybody know that. It's gonna be April 3rd and the 4th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And April the 5th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so, and over at the transfer stations.
And there's some that's not accepted.
Yeah.
And it can't be retailers, it's just individuals, but
Yeah,
no
retailers are not like, if you sell tires, like Litchfield Tire can't come down, or Big O can't come down and do it. So the ones not accepted, there's the foam filled, calcium filled, tracks, rubber sheets, any tire with a bead greater than 1 3/4 inch. The ones that are accepted are on and off the rim, including farm implement tires, truck tires, passenger car tires, semi tires, lawn tires, tractor tires, bicycle, motorcycle, golf cart, etc.
On and off the ramp.
On and off the rim.
A lot of people have-
So it'll be 3 days, and that just helps clean the community up a little bit, where people can bring in, and at no cost to them. So, you know, they can bring them in anytime. All right, we got the Lawrence Hayes Road. Next, Kenny and Steve, and Jeff, I mean, not Kenny and Steve, but.
Oh, you got a pencil out there.
Yeah,
Oh, me.
go ahead, guys.
Jeff, say prayer for you.
Here, stand up, Jim.
Here, get up front, upside down. You want me to?
What's broke, Jeff?
Now, our pothole truck's getting in bad shape, and we've talked about that through the past couple of years, and it's on its last leg, and we had that truck for 7 years. And the jail give it to us. It's done us a pretty good service, and about 250,000 miles on it, and I'd say it had 20,000 hours on it. And I've tried to find a used one, and I ain't had no luck. We're getting the same problem as we got on used. And
Have you asked Jason if he's got another one?
no, no, but
The used ones either have high mileage or high hours.
Right.
And the high hours are sometimes 7,000-8,000 hours.
Yeah, I found that to be true too myself.
that's all headaches. Somebody else. We found at Ublower Chevrolet, a 2024 Chevy Silverado crew cab work truck, 4-wheel drive. It's got a 6.6 gas motor, white. It's already got a dump bed on it, a Z dump brand bed, let down sides, just like the Ford we purchased in 22. And I don't know yet, but we may take that Ford and make it a pothole truck, because this will be new, and we run this truck all the time. We had that one 22. We put about 45,000 miles on it. So it runs every day. It's good to haul riprap, ditch grade, crust on base. Bro, it's just an all-around truck, and we'll switch this. We'll use this Chevy for that, and the Ford we'll probably put the hot box on, where we can do our chipping and sealing, and
It's a good idea.
and as much salt as we put out this time, as you know how the roads get. And
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's been of course, the wetness this spring, or early this year, the boys pothole every day. And what are we going to average once a week to Louisville to get, probably once a week to get 20 tons of coal mix. So, you know, and like I say, the old truck's just about on its last leg.
Well, we
don't
knew
know
it was
how
gonna
much.
happen because of the weather that we had, with the cold weather and the freeze and the thaw, so,
I'll get worse too.
yeah.
Maybe we need to get a new one.
How much is it, truck?
The truck is $52,540 plus
Hold
14.
on, Jeff, hold on just a second. Before you do that, before we give out the price, because
Oh.
that's actually in a different state, so they're not on Kentucky state contract. Okay, so what we need to do is, if you all want to go ahead and purchase the truck, we need to take the exact specs of this truck and list them and do bids on it. And I think that'd be the best way to do it, because if it's in Kentucky, we can get it on state contract. But if it's, with it being out of state, we can't do that. I mean, they do government assistance, but they don't do state contract. So we need to allow other people to bid on the truck, spec'd out exactly how they've given it to us, and then we'll go from there. And plus, I mean, because you've got the right to accept or reject any bid, and apparently they got this in stock, no waiting.
No waiting. I tried, Todd Cave was gonna give me a quote on this truck, and the bids are put on hold for wheels.
For steel wheels?
For steel wheels.
Yeah, can't get them, so.
I'd put aluminum on. I don't think he done it. That's crazy, but.
Might not be a bad idea, Judge.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's up to you all. I mean, if you've got any more questions for them or anything, but, I think before we, you know, we don't need to tell the price out until we get, you know, until we get the bids. So, and,
Yeah, he said it right there. If you can't get them wheels, put aluminum ones on it, because we need the truck.
well, this one's got it, apparently. They've got this truck in stock.
Okay.
It's already got the bid on it.
But, I mean, with it not being on Kentucky state contract, we need to, you know, we need to bid the truck out.
Okay.
So I just need a
That's my
motion to go ahead and put
I'll make a motion.
bids out for it, if you're all good with it, so. Motion by Neil, second by Jason, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll put bids out and, run them for a couple weeks and then get them back like we normally do, so, and open them up, so. But we'll get with these folks and tell them what's going on, and that way, you know, somebody else comes in $10,000 lower, sorry. So, but, all right. Anything else? Y'all got anything? Everything going good? Y'all busy? Any questions for these guys while they're here? Magistrates, any road issues?
They take care of all the ones I've had.
Steve, appreciate you getting out late last night. Y'all was out late last night getting trees blown down. Now you got another late night tonight. Appreciate you coming.
Anything else? Nothing? All right, one more thing I've got is, you all know that we've had some factories leave here in the past few years, and we had with Bell Brands, they left IDC, which is Industrial Development Corporation. They actually had given, I wouldn't say given, it was a forgivable loan to Bell Brands back a little over a year ago, probably about 2 years ago, $1 million if they would retain so many employees. And they did do that. And so there was a lot of stuff that IDC had done to try to retain, you know, these factories and these employers here in the community. And it was sort of a blow to us. It was a blow to, not to mention worse than anybody, is to the people that work there.
Right.
And that have been there for years. But IDC's tried to recruit. They've got someone that they've hired, and that he's been on for a while, and that has been going out and trying to recruit business, and you know, speaking with the economic development cabinet up in, you know, at Frankfurt and Frankfurt level. And so it's, long story short, we need to probably start going in a different direction and start doing some different things. And I think one of the council members Monday night might have addressed some stuff that he was looking for. And this is something that we have been working on. I've talked with the Mayor Miller, and talked with Senator Meredith and Representative Hebron, and spoke with Richie Sanders, which is does economic development stuff, and he's a lobbyist for Houchins and does different things, well connected in Frankfurt. He helps IDC, and we need to start an economic Development Board for, and actually hire someone to be a director of that. And for job creation, business growth, infrastructure development, everything that you can think of. I mean, like the businesses that we have here, we need to try to have someone on site that can help them obtain grants. I mean, just everything that you can think of. I mean, if they need help with grants to try to expand their business or retain employees, or technology as far as getting with the school system and seeing how they're developing, what they're doing in their facility, and can the school implement something at the trade level to try to help them. So, and this would also help with, infrastructure, building better infrastructure as far as water, gas, sewer, to some of these locations that we currently have, which there's 2 locations that we have for possible industrial sites, but one is owned by the Hospital Foundation, and it's right there at Clarkson, Litchfield city limits, around 60 acres, right there, that I have signed an agreement with for an option to purchase that. It didn't cost us any money, but if someone comes in and wants to develop that they could. And we've got resources where we could actually get that. So also there was an agreement signed with the school board district, which was the property off of Shaw Station to on the 90 acres that is beside and back behind where the school board's at. And in case if someone came in and needed some property to build something. So, and the Industrial Foundation got that signed. So with this new board, I mean, we're still going to continue our adventures with the Industrial Foundation, of course. And but with this new board, I've spoke with the mayor, and I've spoke with the senator and the representative, and we've got an opportunity for some funds that has came available, and we had been waiting to make sure that these were available to us. And we need to create this board and go in a different direction for small business, to retain the people we have here. Not only that, but instead of trying to hit the home run and getting the factory that's got 1,000 jobs or 500 jobs, why can't we get 10 factories with 40 and 50 jobs? And that's why it's not so devastating to the community and to the families when someone does pull out. It's unfortunate that it happens, but it happens everywhere. So, but try to retain those folks here, and have someone on the job that's what their job is. Have a director and set a different board for this economic development cabinet, or this economic development board. And so I just need your all's authority to work with the city officials to form the board. It's not, I don't know. I would recommend that it not be over 5 people, maybe 7 at the most on the board. And the board would be responsible for the hiring of the director. And this is all new, so I can't, there's not a lot I can tell you. If you know of people that has been in industry, economic, development, any kind of business experience, people that are driven and are visionaries and are not afraid of growth and are ready to move forward. I mean, that's the kind of people we need on this board. And the city would get, if they decide to partner with us, the city would get picks. I would say, 2 or 3 picks. The county, as a fiscal court, would get 2 or 3 picks to put on this board. And I would say that they would, normally that happens, Jeremy, they serve at a 4-year term. Is that usually right?
Yeah.
And then it would be your all's responsibility to, reappoint them, after the 4 years is up. So it's just in the beginning phase, but we are, we do have some money to work with now as far as industrial development, as far as economic development, to try to find some property and try to start doing some recruiting for this. I mean, they've been doing it. Industrial development has been doing it in the past, but it's usually larger facilities that they've been trying to, and there's been several people in here in the past 2 or 3 months. There's been several people talk about purchasing the Bell building. But, a lot of these people, and I understand the general public's frustration, but a lot of these companies want us to sign non-disclosure agreements. They do not want this stuff talked about until they're ready to move their stuff in. And we've had to sign, some of those in the past. So, and it's probably because they're in a different area of the country and we were trying to recruit them. And just like what happened with Bell Cheese, we knew nothing about that until the minute it happened. So it's unfortunate it happens that way, but that is the way it happens. So, and to no fault of them or anyone else, but we definitely want to go in a different direction and help the businesses that we have here now and try to keep retaining them. And this is what this board will actually do, and try to create new jobs within our community. So is there any questions or any comments or anything by anybody?
Motion. Just the motion will be, just so we follow the KRS, it is economic development, but just what you'd be voting on is somebody makes a motion is to form an industrial development authority, whether it be with the city or even on our own, for him to be able to have the authority to move on.
Yeah, I just need the authority to move on with it. This could be strictly on the county. I'm not trying to put words in the city's mouth.
Right.
Because they've got 6 council members and they'll make their own decisions. But we want to try to work with them.
Sure.
Because it ultimately affects everyone, the city and the county. It doesn't matter. So, and so this could be our own road home. So, but I would think, talking with the mayor, I think they would like to go in a different direction. Of course, Tim Bocock was the councilman that talked about it Monday night, and everybody wants to see new jobs.
Right.
It's not, it's nothing new that hasn't came up. It's some stuff that we don't talk about because of some of these non-disclosure agreements. So, but this will be a different direction. But like I said, the IDC board will still be intact. We'll still be a member of it, and everything will still go as planned. This will just be a new board. So, motion by Ben and second by Darren. All in favor? All right. Jeremy, you got anything else?
No, sir.
On that? Okay. You got anything? All right. Let's see what else we got. Old business. Anybody got old business? Anything? Nothing.
Sam's asleep.
Sam, are you asleep?
Get close to it. It's almost my bedtime.
All right, we need a motion. We need a motion to, no, hold on a minute. No, that's it. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Darren. Second by Neil. All in favor?